Shall we do Inconvenient Truth now, actually, since you just flagged it up? And actually, it does tie into something I was just talking about with the Queen. It's okay, we're not going to run a clip from it, so
go on, let's hear Al in all his glory.
I don't have a clip from it. That's why we're not going to... But I can do Al for you.
Do an Al impression.
I did... podcasters are going to absolutely love this. Having done Sacha Baron Cohen doing The Frenchman in Talladega Nights, hey, Ricky Bobby, we give you this, and this is what you get. And so now, Al Gore on the subject of global warming. The world is getting incredible.
No, that bit's you now.
So here's the problem. An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore's documentary about global warming, which apparently is going to destroy the world in a very short period of time. I believe it. I know. Totally in favour of, global warming, bad thing. Okay, carbon emissions, bad thing. All that bad thing, yes, I agree. I was in Cannes when Al Gore stood up at the beginning of this screening, and I didn't even realise it was Al Gore in the room, because that man has had a charisma bypass of some extraordinary magnitude. And he stood up and he said, I cannot believe that a PowerPoint lecture that I used to give has been awarded a place at the Cannes Film Festival. I'm thinking, you don't believe it. I'm sitting here and I agree with everything in the film. But you know what, Al? I'm starting to understand how that election thing happened. He introduced himself very humorously, and he does this in the film, as I'm, the person who used to be the next president of America. That's his joke. That's the one ray of humorous sunshine.
That's not true. There's a couple of other jokes in there which I thought were quite good.
Where?
He talks. He makes a couple of jokes at the expense of the current administration.
Like that's really hard.
Well, at least he does it. I mean, here's a man who you could quite logically argue, could have become the most embittered man in political history.
He's too boring to be embittered.
He won the popular vote.
Yeah, he's still too boring to be embittered.
I'm just saying maybe you should give him credit for actually having made something creative with his life.
I think one could ask a sensible question about how was it that election ended up so close? And one of the answers, that people give is, well, obviously, it's to do with corruption. The other answer is that actually the side that some people wanted to win weren't fighting their corner perhaps as enthusiastically as they could do, because they were fronting somebody who was not as charismatic as the previous... I mean, I don't want to get into the politics of this, but I want to discuss this as a film. Here's the problem. It's not a film. It is a PowerPoint lecture delivered on celluloid. All the arguments are completely correct, completely coherent. Amazingly, Arnold Schwarzenegger went to see it and it changed his life, because Schwarzenegger didn't believe anything about global warming until he saw it in a film, and then he suddenly believed, oh dear, the world is heating up, I had better slap down... Fine, Arnold, the rest of us were there 10 years ago, but I'm really glad you've caught up. And for you alone, for the governor of California, for the, what do they call him, the governator, I'm thrilled that the movie had that kind of reaction. For the rest of us, it will attract an audience of people who know this already. If you put it on television as a documentary that people would stumble across by accident without getting out of their homes, getting a bus, going to the cinema, paying their £7 to see it, fine. In the cinema, it's not a film. It's a lecture. And it's a lecture given by somebody who makes Michael Moore suddenly make sense. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say, but I agree with everything Al Gore's saying in this movie, but I just had to keep pinching myself to wake up and agree with him.
Well, maybe I'm spoiled, and I admit I didn't pay money before.
I didn't pay money
seeing
either.
The movie and then interviewing Al Gore.
Sure.
But me and Tim Smith from Radio 2 were planning to leave after an hour, and we didn't, because we were captivated and thought it was pretty interesting.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you, Tim Smith, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's not bad.
$23 million worth of American fee-paying punters. So apparently there is a market for it out there in America. It's like making a documentary that's entire target audience is people who know this already. Can you imagine anyone who, other than Arnold Schwarzenegger, who feels ambiguous on the subject of global warming, saying, I've got an evening free, what can I do? I can go and see Talladega Nights with that guy from Madagascar saying, hey, I'm Ricky Bobby. You know what? No, I'll go and be bored by Al Gore.
What else?